The Silent Sales Machine Philosophy. If you haven't read the book and you don't come from 2002 like I do, what the whole premise of the book was based on is don't try to drive traffic. It's kind of like herding cattle. You're driving people to a website, right? That's not the way to do it. Don't go, hey, I'm going to be a successful e-commerce or internet entrepreneur, right? Don't do that and say, I'm going to build a website and try to get people there. That's like the last step. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. That's the hardest way to do this. Driving traffic is incredibly hard. It's incredibly expensive. It's incredibly competitive. And we knew it from the start. So many people like, oh, I'm going to build a website, and they failed. I did. That was the first thing. I started a website called Meds by Mail, where I was teaching seniors how to get their meds cheaper from Canada than getting it here in the US. You could do mail order from Canada and get your meds for way cheaper. You were paying me $40 a pop for that ebook on how to do it, right? But then it failed and it flopped, and I learned my lesson. And when I found eBay in 1997, wow, something happened. And then my wife stopped thinking I was a complete idiot. I mean, if you think about it, when you get into this business, right, and you go out and you get excited and you go, hey, closest friend, relative, hey, I'm going to be a success at selling stuff online and e-commerce. And they go, yeah, right, whatever, right? And I call these people dream stealers. One piece of advice is do not allow people to steal your dreams. I don't care who they are. And the saddest thing about that is they're usually your closest friends and relatives. So be wary of that, right? But let's talk about the 3 F's and going where the audience is going. I'm not going to build a website and try to drive traffic. I'm going to go where the traffic's already going. It's already going to Amazon. 50% of all products sold online happen on Amazon. I'm going to go to eBay. I'm going to go to Walmart. I'm going to go where the traffic's already going. Is it going to Facebook, right? Where's my audience hanging out? And that's the key to this, right? Is, how am I going to be a successful entrepreneur that sells products and uses the internet creatively to sell products online? Not just an Amazon seller. Okay? Amazon is just one spoke in your marketing wheel. I'm going to show you that here in a second, right? But we're going to talk about the 3 F's. Find your audience, figure out what they search for, and fill the demand. That can be in a Facebook group. I'm in the magnesium advocacy group. You think the My Silent Team group's big? They've got like 370,000 people that are looking at the root cause. Look it up. It's called The Root Cause. There's a doctor that wrote a book, and that's one of the products I sell is liquid magnesium and electrolytes, right? And we get it right out of the Great Salt Lake where I live in Utah. But I found the audience, and then I figure out what they search for. What are they into? What are they looking for? What are the keywords? What are they talking about? Who are they? What are they all about? Are they male, female? Think about your brand for a second. Like if you were to have your own brand selling whatever it is that you're into or whatever you're passionate about, if that brand walked into the room, would it be a man? Would it be a woman? What color of clothes would they be wearing? Would they be wearing really high fashion? Or would they just be wearing casual? What kind of shoes would they wear, right? Think about who that person is, right? This audience. This is where you start, because if you figure out who the audience is, and then you figure out what keywords they search for, and then you figure out the product that they're looking for, and you fill that demand, that's how you become successful at this stuff, right? A lot of people start the other way. Oh, wow, I found this, widget product over here. And then I'm going to start from, I found a product. Now I'm going to figure out how to market it after the fact. That's the wrong way to do it. That's starting at the top of the pyramid and working your way down. That's the thing is if you start out with replens and you go, oh, wow, drink mixes sell well, right? Eventually you get to a place where now I'm not going and picking that stuff up from Aldi's or wherever or online. I'm now picking that stuff up from the wholesale distributor. I work my way up the pyramid. Then now that, gosh, if I can buy this thing wholesale and I'm only making Keystone and just, 10 to 20% margin, well, why wouldn't I go to someone that can actually make this for me and put my own brand on it? See how that works its way up? Now you know what the demand is. Now you know who the audience is, right? That's the best way to figure out what branded bundles you should start doing is go and look at the replens and the offers that you're already selling, right? And do that. Focus on results. If I could give you, I'm going to give you a lot of good advice here. But that one right there, focus on where you're already getting results and go after that. Don't bounce around, bolt down to where you're getting results. And here's, people, this is frustrating because they come into coaching and they're like, that's it? It's that simple? Yeah, focus on what you're already doing that's working and do more of that. But here's like 10 different ways that you can do more of that, right? So the 3 F's. Now, let's go to the 3 H's, right? I've got the 4 D's too. Did anybody pick up on my 4 D's? The other day I had a thing that was the 4 D's that should take an inventory on yourself. The 4 D's are do it on your list of to-dos. These are the things that I have to do now. They're my highest priority items. I'm going to do it, right? And then there are the things that, oh, I've got these great ideas, but you know what? I need to delay it, right? Okay? I need to delay that, right? I'm going to put a pin in that and come back to it another time, right? Okay? Then this is my favorite one that I probably suck at the most is delegate it. You know, I'm one of these people that if it didn't get done by me, boy, it just didn't get done right. And I'm a sucker for the punishment. And I'm just a victim of myself all day long, all the time. The drop it is the last D on that. 4 Ds, right? Some stuff you just got to let it go. It's not your wheelhouse. You think it might be. You've got all these things going on in your head and these ideas and what you want to do. You want to bolt down, sit down, write a 4 square box, put it up on your whiteboard. What are your 4 Ds? What am I going to do right now? What do I need to delay? What do I need to delegate? And what do I need to drop? I have all these cool acronyms. I'm going to write a book on one-liners one day. But the 3 H's. This is the silent sales machine philosophy. After we find that audience, we figure out who they are, we figure out what they're into, we figure out what they search for, and we figure out, hey, nobody's doing this. Wow, nobody's putting the Minecraft skin, the Minecraft book with the Xbox. There's no way I'm going to take an Xbox and sell an Xbox on Amazon with the 500 people crowding the buy box. But if I add those things to it, right, I'm going to find that golden gap. And I'm the only one in the world selling that now. And now it's going to sell like hotcakes until, 20 other people figure it out, copycat me, and take it to the bottom, race to the bottom. Then I got to move on and find another one. And they're always out there. There's a million of those. Just don't ever let that discourage you. Next case, next race. But the 3 H's: hook, hide, and hold. Once I make that sale, I want to hook that customer into me. I want to hook them into my fold. And one of the benefits to brand registry and building a brand is that Amazon allows you to send things in with your own packaging. In fact, my packaging front and center has my domain name. Go to my website, right on my main image, and that's okay. Amazon is okay with that because it's part of your packaging. And inside my packaging, I have an insert card that says, hey, come back or send a friend and get a 10% off discount. Go to my website and give me your name and your email address for the warranty on this. Now I've got their name. See, I want to hook those people off of Amazon, and this is the whole concept of silent selling machine. Back in the day, eBay, I was using eBay as the cheapest marketing tool to garner customers and garner audience. This is Jim's idea, not mine, right? Where Jim Cocker, I got to tell you, just an aside, that just brings joy to my heart. I think I'm probably the world's best child teaser in the world. If there was a child teasing championship of the world, I would win it. I would have the belt, I guarantee you. So anyway, sorry, tangent. But hooking those people back into my fold through things like eBay, through things like Walmart, through things like Amazon, I want to bring those people into my fold and make them know, like, and trust me. And then I want to hide them away from Amazon. I want to hide them away from my competitors into my fold. You may not be aware of that, but me and Jim have done that with you. We've hooked you, and now we're hiding you away into our fold as our little friend. And then we want to hold you there. If that offends you, I'm sorry. It may sound like maybe that World Championship of teasing thing wasn't so off after all and on a tangent, but that's really what it is we want to hook. That was the whole thing with the silent sales machine is how do we hook, hide, use these marketplaces that already have the traffic for the lowest organic price to get recognized so that people can see us, so that we can build a list of customers. This is the thing that Amazon right now is kind of holding you back on. If Amazon is the main spoke in your marketing wheel, you need to think beyond being a third-party seller and become Someone who uses the internet creatively to make money and sell products online, right? Not that there's anything wrong with being an Amazon seller, but that's the thing is it took for me, like when I first started, I could only think this big until I got mentors and coaches and people that were doing things. And then I saw it and I was like, oh, wow, they can do it. I can do it, right? Now, let's talk about the marketing wheel, right? And this leads right into Amazon is only one spoke in your marketing wheel, right? Amazon is only one spoke in your marketing wheel. If you're an Amazon seller, you're kind of missing the bus. And as you move up the pyramid of e-commerce and start implementing all these strategies, and I'll be the first one to tell you, it's not easy. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it, and it would be so saturated that, But this opportunity, it's still in its infancy phases, right? I mean, think about it. The internet has only really been mainstream for a good 25 years, maybe at best, 20 years, where people are really buying and shopping online and trusting it. And think about it, Amazon is only responsible for about 14% of all total retail sales in the United States. That's it, right? Like online is maybe total 20% of all total sales, right? So we want to start with Amazon. And here's the thing is we don't want to do all of this at once because, it's just too hard. But as you grow and you say, that replen worked really good on Amazon, why wouldn't we put that up on Walmart now and use WFS, Walmart Fulfillment Services? They've got a great service that's just like FBA, works really well. Walmart, in my opinion, will be the next juggernaut. And if you're not there now, you're going to be late to the dance because business is a race. Business is a race, right? It's a race to the top of the mountain, but it's also a race to stay at the top, right? And that's kind of what we struggle with. Had a great replan, was killer. Now, man, everybody jumped on it and now it's dead. You got to be very quick to say next case, next race, right? Don't dwell, don't get depressed, don't let it discourage you. Failure should not just be something that kind of happens in the journey. It should be expected. Failure, you should expect to fail. It's good. Fail forward fast, right? But then move it on to eBay. And think about this. All these spokes in your marketing wheel, right? Who's using eBay? I know this guy kills it. Let's see, for a show of hands, who does over $10,000 a month in sales on eBay? You already won. I knew it. I knew Paul already won. He has a great book. I wrote the foreword for his book on. What's really cool is all the finds and the picks in his book. If you haven't seen it, go talk to Paul here about his book, and he'll probably give you one. And it'll show you all the cool little vintage collectible things that you were like, what? That sold for $4,000? That original Raggedy Ann doll? That's a funny story. That gal tried to rip you off on that. Yeah. Tried to return a fake one back. Crazy. So Amazon, it's still like the Wild West online right now. Pretty soon it won't be that way. But eBay is I love eBay, right? eBay is where it all started for me. If you're not developing a stream of income on eBay, you're not going where the traffic's already going. Now, it's not as grand and glorious as it once was. We used to crush it on eBay, right? Paul, in today's world, the 30 grand or so a month that you're doing would be like 300 grand a month. I had once we'd hit like 200, because we sell batteries, they'd shut us down. And then we'd have to start another. It wasn't like Amazon where you're like, you're done forever. It's like, oh, just start up a new eBay account under this one. Instead, we had like 15 eBay accounts at one time because one would get shut down and we'd have to shift everything over, right? But eBay, I highly recommend it. One of my favorite places in the world to sell. And then how are you using Facebook in your business, right? Amazon loves off-site traffic. If you're on Facebook and you have a replen or you have a product that is your branded bundle, you need to use Facebook to promote it to get traffic there. In fact, with brand registry, Facebook, you can put a link that Amazon gives you that is called a brand attribute tag, brand referral bonus link, where Amazon will give you a kickback on your selling fees if the traffic came from outside of Amazon. So you can set one up that says, okay, I just set this link up for Facebook for this product, set one up for YouTube. I just set one up for Pinterest over here, and go where the traffic's going and link it back to your Amazon listing, right? With brand registry, You can do this. It's only for brand registered sellers, right? Now, how are you using YouTube in your business, right? Here's a really cool thing. You know, you can make a video, right? Link it back to Amazon to any product and make an affiliate commission. Now, you can tell I'm not real big on the affiliate program, but that's a new thing. I'm seeing people making a nice $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $10,000 a month stream of income is reviewing products, making a video, setting up the Amazon associate program, and that's another little stream of income, right? Imagine having 10 streams of income that you made $2,000 a month per stream. That's the goal. That should be where your mind is. Now, how are you using Instagram in your business? Well, here's a way. Anybody know any Instagram influencers? Yeah. You know anybody that has got a bunch of followers? I'm sure you've heard of it, seen it. You know, that's how I'm using Instagram. We just launched a supplement brand, which supplements are really hard to sell and market. But we made like $4,000 in sales out of the gate on a launch through an influencer using Instagram. These are spokes in your marketing wheel. These are just tools. Amazon is just a tool that you use in your business. It's not the be-all, end-all of your business. That's the whole premise of Silent Sales Machine, right? Shopify, a website. Eventually, as I work my way around the marketing wheel, it makes sense to have a website because those people that if you have a brand and you're on Amazon, right? A lot of times they'll search for you, they'll find you, they'll look at your reviews, and a lot of times they'll go Google you. Oh, they have a website. They'll go look at your website. They'll go to the product. They'll go to the buy page and they'll go, all right, and they go back to Amazon and buy it. Hey, looks legit. Let's buy it on Amazon, right? So having that website can drive a sale and you don't even know. The metric of it, it's very difficult to track. But I see that happening a lot, right? It validates you as a business. And business on the internet moves at the speed of trust. Business on Amazon moves at the speed of trust. If Amazon trusts you, they're going to put you in front of the audience. If the audience trusts you, you're going to get what you want, right? But you've got to be prepared when you get there. You've got to have a story. The shortest distance between you and the customer you want, the relationship you want, is your story. And in fact, if you don't feel like you have a story and you think you're a boring person, make one up, right? Bartles and James, you ever seen those commercials back in the day for the Bartles and James wine coolers? Old Bartles and old James, fictitious. Never real. Those people were not real. They were all made up. That's a brand story. And people loved it. They connected to it, right? So think about it. And here's another thing too. As insignificant as you think your story might be, trust me, people are going to connect with it more than you even realize or think. Everybody absolutely has a story, right, to tell. And that's what connects you to relationship, right? Now, anybody sell on Etsy? 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. We should meet and talk about that. Etsy is another big one that I have clients that come to us for coaching and they're like, well, I got this Etsy thing. And what I show them and the work that we do, they never even make it onto Amazon. I have a client that's been in our coaching program for 2 years and we've been selling, well, I can't totally out it, but doormats, we'll just say, right? And she sells so much on Etsy that she can't even get enough stock to set it up on Amazon. She'll kill it on Amazon if she does it. She'll double her business overnight, but she got a tiger by the tail just on Etsy, right? So go where the traffic's already going for your audience. Who's the audience for Etsy? Is it Bob the truck driver? Well, you never know. He might be into crochet, right? You never know until you figure out who your audience is, where they hang out, and you figure out and devise a strategy to hook, hide, and hold them back into your fold, right? And then expose the whole marketing. When we talked about other marketplaces, there's some great marketplaces, out there. Jane.com. Once you reach that level where you're ready for it, anybody sell on any marketplaces they would recommend? Mercari, Poshmark's great. Yeah, it's used stuff, but my favorite one, and I was going to put it up here, is Whatnot. I just started selling on Whatnot this last year. We sell Funko Pops. I've got 2 accounts. It's my son's account. So what it is you do a live show. So you use Facebook and Instagram to build a following of people that sign up for Whatnot to get your notifications for when you go live. There are sellers on Whatnot that I follow, that I work with, and these guys sell Funko Pops for me. I kind of quit trying to be the guy and because it's too much to be the influencer and run a show. It's like having your own podcast or whatever. But there was a seller that I work with that They're called, if you look them up on whatnot, they're called Pop Fiend, right? And so they're sending me a bunch of stuff. They're dead pile, and I'm going to try to sell it elsewhere. But I sat there and watched a show that Hussein did one night, and he did 300 grand in sales in about 4 hours. It was nuts. It was like, are you kidding me? And what's weird is I'm the idiot buying $500 pops that I can sell for $7 from him. I mean, I sold a Funko Pop, a piece of plastic, Bob Marley, Reggae Rasta, not too long ago for $1,000 from 2012. Bob Marley, Funko Pops are great, man. If you can get approval to sell Funko Pops, that's the thing is, you know what? I don't sell them on Amazon. In fact, I don't even like to sell them on eBay, right? Because if they're not mint, perfect, absolute condition, and just like that gal tried to rip you off on the Raggedy Ann and Andy doll, the original, that's crazy. That's a crazy pick. But like they try to rip you off, they send you back the fake one or the, just you got to watch yourself. You got to have some experience. It's good to start from the bottom layer of the pyramid and work your way up, right? But Whatnot is a live selling platform. You get on and you do a show and you turn your camera on and you put your product on a Lazy Susan. In fact, one of my very good friends and someone who is not here, but a very good friend of the community, her name is Danny Ackerman. She's been around forever teaching eBay, but she has Whatnot. Now she has a thrift store in Las Vegas, and that's all she does. Is she does a show twice a week on Whatnot, going live and saying, oh, hey, here, we got your grandma's tchotchkes, right? Let it spin around on the thing. You do a 30-second auction or a 1-minute auction, and people fight over this stuff and pay way more than it's worth, but it's a collectible audience. They sell vinyl records there. They sell vintage collectible. They sell vintage clothing, toys, games, Pokemon cards, all that stuff. That's where the audience goes for that one, that other marketplace. And so what you're going to see over the next 10 years is way more marketplaces popping up, right, on the scene, that you can be the first one to the dance. I was going to be the first one to ever have a course on Whatnot, and I'm like, oh man, Nate, you know what? You got to say no. Bolt down. Don't, great idea, but it's pulling you away from where you need to be focusing on the best results that you're getting, right? So influencers, really quickly, I want to talk about that. Yeah, what's up? Oh, Rivley. Yeah, let's mention Rivley. That's a new marketplace. Support these new marketplaces, because how many of you people really like Amazon, that they've just been a great friend to you throughout the years? You've never feared waking up one day to the dreaded account suspension email. They've never come in and tanked the buy box on you, or, Amazon, my wife is like the worst. Like, she'll come to this conference, people are like, oh, you're Karen, I've heard about you. Awesome, so great to you. You do Amazon too, and Nathan says you're the real praiseworthy. My wife will go, I hate Amazon. I wish they died in a fiery car crash on Christmas Eve with their whole family. She hates Amazon. But you know what? Our whole business is not hinged on Amazon. And if yours is, I'd be concerned. Right? I'd be concerned about the diversification of your business. If Amazon shut your business down and suspended you, would you be completely out of business? Most people in this room could raise their hand. I won't make you, but most people would raise their hand to that. And don't be in that place where your whole business, if Amazon shut you down, it's over. That's the whole principle of Silent Sales Machine. In fact, Proven Amazon course, it's a great course. We were the first ones to the dance on doing a course on Amazon in history. I'm very proud of that, right? But I would not recommend to any of you to just be an Amazon seller. I'd recommend to all of you to use the internet creatively, right, to make money online. And there's 100 different ways to do it. Just don't do all 100 ways, and over the weekend, right? Like, bolt down to one way, master it, make it passive, right? And pass it on to somebody and bring people in. Now let's go deep on that for a second, right? Before that, I'm going to give you my top 3 recommendations, right? Number 1 is get a coach, right? Leanna is a coach. You want to learn how to do branded bundles? She is the best option, in my opinion, in the world that you have to build a business doing branded bundles, and our coach and our whole entire coaching team. I'm so honored that she is a part, and we're going to be presenting tomorrow. You guys got to catch it. It's going to be awesome, right? The second thing is build a brand. Even though you feel you might not be ready to be a brand builded person like, hey, I'm a newbie, man. I'm just trying to sell books, right? Or, just try to figure out the foundation. You are a brand, whether you like it or not. And if you start going down that road now, right, and coming up with that brand concept, what's your tagline? What's your logo? What's your colors? Who is your audience? If the audience member of your audience that you're shooting for walked in the room, how would they be dressed? What color would they be wearing? All those things, and take from that vision and start building a brand now, because you could be at the top of the pyramid or up there in that brand building section 8 months from now, 12 months from now, 2 years from now. Eventually, if I would have started when I started back in 97, selling things creatively online, and I would have said, I'm going to be a brand and I'm going to start developing a brand now, I would not be in front of you here right now today. I could have been the next Death Wish Coffee, or I'd have been a brand. I'd have been way down the road. I would have built it, sold it, exited. I'd be on to the next case, right? So think about that for a second. You are a brand, whether you like it or not. You might as well start right now figuring what that means. If you want to go deeper on that, come talk to us at Hummingbird. Just do a strategy section. We're not even, in fact, we'll probably push you away and tell you you're not ready for this step, but it will help give you an idea of what you need to do to start doing that and what that looks like, what a style guide is, what a tagline is, what is your brand messaging, what is your, your brand vision, right? What really is a brand, right? And how do I start building that so that 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the road, after I've really mastered all these lower hanging fruit strategies, do I have something that I can build off of, and it's already there, and I've already bolted down to it, and I've already secured it, that cool name that I figured out. I created one called Authentic. It's a product that my audience are people that are authentic. They're artists, they're musicians, they're artists, right? And musicians and artists generally, do you guys know are there any artists in the room or musicians or whatever, right? Are you a little eccentric? Would you say that? Like, I know I am. All artists have that. Like Andrea, I got to tell you guys, Andrea, Jim's wife, she's one of the coolest, best artists I know. Like, she spills paint on a freaking, canvas like nobody I've ever seen. It's amazing. It's very, very cool what she does, right? But she's very eccentric, and sometimes us eccentric types are really kind of, we're a little bit off the reservation, right? And you have to kind of put up with us. But there's an originality to that also makes people love you, right? So I made up that word. Authentic, eccentric, authentic. That's my brand. It's one that I'm building, right? Integraship, built that brand. Hummingbird, created that brand. So you don't just have to bolt down to one, you can bolt down to many for many different audiences. In fact, you can be a brand that is a house of brands. For instance, like Procter & Gamble, right? Does anybody know who Procter & Gamble is? For those of you who don't, have you ever used Tide? Have you ever used Crest? Have you ever used Kleenex? Those are all their brands. But most people don't ever flip the product over on the back and see that little Procter & Gamble logo. That's a house of brands. A branded house would be more like Apple, Macintosh, right? It's all one color. It's all iMac, iTunes, iPod, all the same. It's a branded house, right? The colors are all the same. Logos, all their products, all their packaging looks the same, right? So you could be, an Amazon seller is best suited to be a house of brands where you can have multiple brands that you trademarked. And over here, I've got this crochet kit for truck drivers. Over here, I've got a food brand. I've got maybe a pet brand. I've got, I wouldn't always recommend to go after what you're passionate about, because, that can often be a dead end. Just think, what's the most boring thing that people actually really need, right? That's usually going to be one of the more successful brands. But my last tip here, leverage other people. All of you are sitting in here because me and Jim have leveraged other people. We leverage other people big time. In fact, how many courses do you guys know of in the PAC course that were done by Jim? That Jim is the person, and he's in there speaking, and you're watching his slideshow presentation. How many of those courses did Jim make? 0. In fact, if Jim had his choice, he wouldn't be on the stage at all here. He would just have all these people that he's leveraging to build these courses and do all this stuff. He's leveraging the audience. And I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that, right? You want to leverage other people's time. You want to leverage other people's knowledge. You want to leverage other people's money. You want to leverage other people's resources. I was going to make a really cool diagram like the marketing wheel or the pyramid or whatever. I was going to make another pyramid where each face of the pyramid, one is time, one is knowledge, one is money. And let me just go through this a little bit with you. Leveraging other people's time. If you're a replen seller and you're doing 10 grand a month and you're not actively seeking somebody to take over those aspects of your business and turn yourself into a CEO and be doing only the things that the CEO should be doing in the business, right? You're missing the boat, right? Relationships are the key to everything. I'm going to go deeper on this with you. But without relationships and the ability to leverage other people's time, you're stuck. You cannot make your business passive. And if you think about it, time. The reason why time is at the top is because time is your most valuable asset. You can go out and make unlimited wealth and lose it. You can go make $1 million and put it all on black in Vegas and lose it overnight. But you can make it back. You cannot turn the clock back. Time is your most valuable asset. Time in life cannot be wasted on meaningless experiences. Bottom line, okay? Guard your time like it is the most important asset that you have, right? Leveraging other people's time is an art. Leverage in general is an art, but that's the most important one. Leveraging other people's knowledge. In fact, if you like what I'm talking about here and you want to pick my brain, you're welcome to it, right? Not only do you want to leverage other people, but you want to let other people leverage you. That's how a relationship works. That's how the world goes around. That's why we're all sitting here today, right? Leveraging other people's knowledge. Get a mentor, get a coach, and then pass it on. Teach somebody else. Best way to learn something is by teaching someone how to do that. Leverage money. A lot of people think that this is a hard one. I get people telling me all the time, Nathan, I want to do this, I want to do that. I just don't have the money to do it. Money is not what's holding you back right now. What's holding you back is not having the knowledge, direction, and tools. In fact, I can show you 6 different ways that you can get money to do whatever it is that you want to do that's going to be a good business strategy for you, right? In fact, I use the bank's money the same way that they use my money, right? In fact, I'll buy a lot of O'Neill wetsuits here coming up here pretty quick this winter, and then I'll sell it next summer. But that's going to be a $15,000 buy. Rather than pulling the money directly out of my pocket, I'm going to use the bank's money to do that. There's a reason why banks are the nicest, tallest buildings in town with free pens and suckers for everybody. It's because they're using our money to do things, right? Would it hurt your feelings or make you feel bad to turn the bank's money on the banks and make money with their money? If you're not doing it, if you have credit, right, it's good that you're not getting into debt. Debt is actually the biggest deterrent to financial independence out of anything. Negative debt. That is the biggest killer of dreams and goals and freedom and control, right? But there are 2 types of debt. There's positive debt and there's negative debt. So if I go out and buy this inventory and it's going to take, I'm going to buy it now, but I'm not going to be able to sell it until the end of season, right? Because they're going to sell it to me now or during the winter months, right? And then I'm going to turn around and sell it in the summer. It's a buy and hold strategy, right? I'm going to put that on a credit card, right? And that's going to buy me the first 30 days free and clear, no money directly out of pocket, right? Then what's going to happen is at the end of 30 days, I'm accountable for what? A minimum payment, right? Not the whole 15 grand, just a minimum payment, right? Of about $300-400. So another neat strategy that I do is instead of paying that minimum payment, I'm going to go use my home equity line to pay it off in full, that line of credit. And that bought me 2 months free and clear, no money out of pocket, saved me $600 out of pocket, no interest, right? So I'm using the bank's money the same way that they're using my money creatively. And then, 6 months down the road, I can start selling and recouping money back and paying that line of credit, realize the profit, be free and clear. Think about it. When you buy a piece of real estate to flip it for a profit, are you going to pull money directly out of your pocket? If you do, hey, that's great. And some people do that with hard money. But really, you use the bank's money. I have a friend here that's a real estate broker. How often do you use cash to buy property versus credit? Sometimes? That's all credit, isn't it? It's all credit. You're using your credit to make yourself income. In fact, that's all your credit is a pre-approved loan from the bank only for the purpose of making money. Another good idea on this is if you have a great idea and it's an opportunity and you don't have the cash in your pocket to do it, come talk to me. I got cash. Let's fund it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen, right? I'm going to probably want 50% of the profit, but if there's a will, there's a way, right? Money is not holding you back. The knowledge, direction, and tools on how to execute with money and the understanding of money and the understanding of capital leveraging may be what's holding you back. And then resources. This is a great one, right? I have a warehouse, right? You need help? You got returns that, oh man, I got to find a place to. I don't do the prep, pack, and ship stuff. I'm not going to try to Tetris your OA deals into a box. But I deal with containers and pallets, and it's a 3PL logistic company called IntegraShip. In fact, if you're in the market for boxing tape, I can get you boxing tape. I just brought in a container load of boxing tape with my brand on it, maybe seen it around the conference, for half the cost of anywhere you can find boxing tape. Let me know. I'll hook you up. I'm not even making any profit on it, right? I'm just promoting my brand, right? And hooking up my friends with a way better deal than they're going to get anywhere else, right? And building people to know, like, and trust. But all that tape, I didn't spend 1 red cent. My partner that was here, Matthew Ung, who owns one of the largest co-packing companies in the world, he went and bought it because he liked my brand. And I told him, oh man, I need a bunch of boxing tape. I think my audience would love that. He just went out and didn't even say anything to me. Just, hey, I got a container coming with your brand on it. Okay, cool. So he paid for it all. I didn't pay it, but I utilized his resources, his relationships, his sources, his warehousing, his freight broker, his, leverage other people's resources, right? In your business, you're not struggling or suffering from a lack of resources. You're struggling from a lack of resourcefulness. Being resourceful. It's never a lack of resources. It's a lack of resourcefulness, okay? And I'm telling you, I'm not telling you anything that's just groundbreaking. It's just I've had coaches and mentors that have made the difference for me so that I can share that with you. And that was one of the things that was most impactful in my business. It was never a lack of resources. It was a lack of resourcefulness. That when I learned that, man, that was just like, right? For me, anyway. Now, another piece of advice I want to impart here with you while I'm riffing up here for you. There's a reason why Jim keeps me around, and it's not because I'm the smartest guy in the room. In fact, if you are the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room. But you are the sum of the top 5 people that you surround yourself with. Remember that when you're building relationships in this business. You're the sum of the top 5 people you choose to surround yourself with, right? You are the embodiment of your crew, really, right? Now, in that, you can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you, right? Remember that. But here are the things about this relationship strategy that I have really just thrown myself into with everything I've got, because it is the core of the success of my business. There is no one sourcing strategy that made it. There was no certain product. There was no real strategy other than relationships. Relationships. You know what? I'm lucky. I was a punk kid headed down the wrong track that, I could be the homeless guy on the street that I just gave $20 to tonight, right? It could be any of us, right? But I had somebody send the elevator down for me, and I was fortunate, right? And it taught me that was the key to all of this, was a relationship put me where I'm at, right? My relationship with Jim put me up in front of you guys today, right? But get in a mastermind. They're not hard to find. They're not hard to form. They are essential in my book right now for anybody who wants to be a successful and professional online seller. I feel it's like getting a coach. If you want to be a professional, get a coach. How many professional athletes do you know of that don't have a coach? I don't know of any real professional ones, right? And this one came up last night with you, Ed. You're a blessing to me. I love working with you. You're one of my favorite clients of all time, right? Formalize, this term was brought forth from him. Formalize a consortium, right? What that means is when we talk about formalizing, it doesn't mean that we need to say, okay, I'm going to be partners with you today. You and I are going to set up a corporation. We are married. We are inseparable from now on. And you know what? If it fails, then we're both going to be filing bankruptcy and probably taking each other to court, right? We don't have to do a partnership or a relationship like that. We can have a simple formalize that your corporation, separate from mine, we have an operating agreement where we choose to do business this way. But guess what? We are going to create a consortium. We're down at the bottom, I put here, this is a An agreement, combination, or group formed to undertake an enterprise beyond the resources of any one member. You and I, you know what's cool about this, right? And I can honestly say this. There's something I guarantee that you're better than I am at, right? And if you found that niche, you found that product, you said, man, I'm going to take this Nathan. I like the way he thinks, right? We could form a consortium and probably pull, you in and you in and you in, and the sum of our parts would make the one whole thing greater, right? I love that about this business, about this conference. You know what? Find someone to partner up with. Find someone to be best friends for the rest of your life with. What do you got to lose? Nothing. But I can tell you this: I know people that have built massive businesses, and it was because they formed a relationship at this event. Don't be shy. Meet people. Everybody here is cool. Everybody here. There's a reason why we attract people like you, right? We know who our audience is. We know what they think about. We know what they look for. We know what they kind of want. I can't tell you, like, for instance, to say, I know how you think. I mean, if I wrote a book that said, the total guide for men about how women think, you'd open it, it'd be all blank pages. There'd be nothing written in the book, right? But, to sum it up, though, create win-win-win scenarios. This is something that Jim taught me that was huge for me. You have to win. You got to put the oxygen mask on you first before you can help anybody else. You have to win. Your partner or your supplier or that connection that's involved in this has to win as well, right? And the customer has to win. That's always going to be a factor, the three-way win. There is no way around it. The three-way win is the only way to the end goal, right? In these consortiums or these business agreements, or, I've seen four-way wins. I've seen five-way wins. The more wins that you can add in to a deal, the better it is, the more longer term it will be. What is the win, 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 and or win, 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 right? So you have to create that. You have to use creativity. If you're not creative, find someone who is. Create a consortium, right? Thank you, Ed. That was brilliant. My last point, and I'll let you guys get out of here and enjoy your night. It's been a long day, and I got to tell you, right now, I should be tired, but sitting in front of you and seeing that you're all actually paying attention to what I have to say and nobody's left the room, I'm so honored. It almost brings me to tears here that someone would even care what I have to say. It's so cool to me, the honor that I have. This to me is sacred. This to me is my religion. This is my ministry. This is my religion. This is where God has put me. I'm unabashed about it. I used to be someone that was like, yeah, whatever. I come from Utah, where if you're not Mormon, you're the devil. But when I grew up, no, don't get me wrong. Mormons are the coolest people you'll ever meet. They are the nicest people, the safest people in the world. But I was hated on, and I had to have these higher standards because you were the kid that if their kid did something wrong, they would blame you because they learned it from you, right? But you know what, though? They are the greatest people in the world. They are very close to God. I don't care what anybody says. My best friends in the whole world are LDS and Mormons. But me, it drove me away from God, right? And then I figured it out. There's no way that there can't be a God directing all of this. And do you know what he wants from us the most? He wants us to be abundant. There's two mentalities about what's going about. When we opened this up, we talked about how scared are you about walking away from your day job, just going to this that scarcity mentality. Operating from a position of fear never yields real results or good results for people. I've seen over the years so many times that people do things out of desperation and it never turns out well for them. You ever notice that? Because they're coming from that scarcity mentality. How do we break through the fear? Fear is a lack of knowledge, and that lack of knowledge creates hesitancy and procrastination, and that procrastination is what is actually going to cause your worst fears to come true. And it's a vicious cycle. Get out of the scarcity mentality and think in abundance. There is more money, there is more opportunity in your world than you may even realize, see, think about. And this abundance mentality is what will lead you to the relationship, that will lead you to the source of products, that will lead you to the sales, that will lead you to the freedom and the control through this business that everybody in this room wants, right? Freedom and control. The only way you're going to get there is by being abundant. So be abundant, be well. So, thanks, guys. 4 Ds. Duck, dodge, dive, and what was the last one? Dip. Dip. Yeah. No, it was dodge, duck, dive, dodge. 4 Ds, right, was do it. Do it now, right? Just do it. Don't write it down. Keep a business journal. This is the top thing that I want to get done today. Do it. Keep a business journal. Always write down what you intend to do. Do it. Or delay it. Okay, hey, you know what? This is kind of a grandiose thing. I really want to do it. I'm really set on it. But right now I need to focus on where I'm getting results and making money to get to a place where I really can do it. So I need to delay that, right? I don't want to drop it. I'll just delay that one. Let's get first things first and the priorities first, right? Okay. And then delegate. D is for delegate. Like I said, it's Matt Thompson. Will you raise your hand, guys? I gotta give this guy props. This guy right here, he's become my best friend in the whole world, and we've known each other for almost 30 years now. He's been through there for me through thick and thin. He's got my back in ways that nobody does right now. So thank you, bro. Thank you. You are one of the top 5 in my world. You are my top 5. You know, I've got my wife, got you, this gal behind him, Deborah, back here. These are my best friends. These are the people that see my heart all the time. They're there to, you know, let me cry on their shoulder when I need to and kick me in the butt when I need it. But I can tell you that Matt came up with well, he didn't come up with it, but he taught me the 4 Ds. We sit down and take an inventory, and he's like, Nate, just delay that, dude. Come on, let's just get on track here, right? And I need that, bro. I appreciate it. And then the last one is drop it, my least favorite one of all of them. Sometimes you just got to let it go. You got to drop it. You got to move on, right? That's not, no, I need to not be the guy that, oh, now I'm into roller skating. I'm going to go to the roller skating rink and that's my new hobby. It's like, what's funny about that is after the conference in Nashville one year, I decided, hey, I'm going to take up longboarding. I live in this place called Cedar Hills. They got these big hills and I'm on this longboard and wow, I wrecked and broke both my arms and my ribs. And I was about that far away from busting my melon on a bunch of rocks. And, longboarding's not for me. That's something I'm going to drop that one, right? The best coaching client. Oh, now that's a question, right? I'm surprised you didn't ask that one, Amy. Amy Stover usually has the best questions. How do you be the best coaching client? Well, being open-minded and teachable, first of all, right, is the first thing, right? But taking action, an action taker. In fact, if Oscar Matumbo were here, I'd have him get up and give you guys a whole seminar on taking massive action. Take massive action, not a little bit action, not just kind of some action, not just big action. No, I want you to take massive action, bigger than you've ever taken in your life before. Massive action. Are they getting rid of GTIN exemptions? No. Generic, we're going to talk about this tomorrow, but that's a really great question, right? How many people here had listings up that Amazon dropped them like a hot potato on the GTIN purge of 2022, right? And yeah, me too, right? How do you fix those? You build a branded bundle out of it. And why that happened is because Amazon saw all these listings in their catalog, not your listing, their catalog. They didn't like that UPC wasn't the actual UPC that was owned in the GS1 database, which is the main database and company that creates and recycles UPCs. In fact, every UPC that you get right now is one that was assigned to something else at one point in time. They're all recycled. You have to get, and Amazon only recognizes one authority on UPCs, which is the GS1 database. So the reason why they dropped all those is because they wanted to clean up their catalog. There's, how many Sweet Baby Ray barbecue sauce bundles do we need in this catalog, right? So they killed it, right? They killed a bunch of listings, and also I heard from Jeff Schick, and I don't know. I think Jeff is pretty trustworthy, but he says that he's got clients that are getting their accounts suspended for creating generic listings. And if he's seeing it, he sees a lot of stuff, right? So, you know, generic listings, I have generic listings that I sell on. I mean, see, it's, you know, a lot of people listen to what I have to say, and I can't, you know, tell you the wrong thing, right? I can't tell you the wrong thing because then Jim's like, Nate, ugh. And Leanna's like, Nate, you know, stop it. You know, I mean, I don't really do anything black hat or gray hat, but, you know, I do GTN exemptions for unregistered and registered brands all the time, right? You don't, you know, you don't have to attach a UPC to everything, and, you know, generally, because they become a lot more expensive. I used to buy 1,000 for $14, but none of those UPCs work anymore, and they're already used by somebody else and recycled. And but you know, that purge, that's a good thing, right? I think it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing because it gives us an opportunity for the people that are going to get frustrated and give up, and then there's us, where we're going to find the creative solution. There's always a creative solution. We're coming out with creative solutions all the time. It's create another listing under a branded bundle under your brand. You know what? That is an incredible idea. I think Jim, you know, I asked Jim, I said, dude, you need to come to this tonight and we need to riff off each other and do this. But I guarantee you, Jim would be like, we'll have one by next week, because he is, I got to tell you though, Jim really is a relationship master, right? He's one of my coaches. He's one of my best coaches ever. But you know, how do we do relationships? One of the things I would refer you to is the Proven Product Partnering course. Even though it may be on this level up here that you may not be ready for yet, I put a lot in there on how do we build relationships? How do I go out and find businesses that will pay me to manage their Amazon and build their listings and do all that stuff? You know what? Go to a Chamber of Commerce meeting in your area. This will blow your mind. I went to a network group meeting that you're going to, in your city, there's at least 10 to 20 network meetings like CEO Space, Million Cups, Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, I mean, they're everywhere. Every area has these network groups. The first one I went to, my partner Michael Gray, that's where I met him. At the very first one I went to, and they said, "Okay, get up around the room. Everybody, give your elevator pitch. 30 seconds to say what you do." "Oh, I'm in real estate." "Oh, I'm a plumber." Or we do video for businesses, and you know, you go around. These are all businesses trying to make connections, do things. I got up and said, I created the first course in history on how to sell on Amazon and helped to create one of the largest communities in the world of professional online sellers. That's all I said. I had a line. I had a line of people waiting to talk to me, like 20 people. It was crazy. It was like, whoa, that's how much in demand that is. But Michael was the first one in line, right? And he was like, dude, I can refer like 50 clients to you right now. He's a connector. One of the key relationships in your world, right, is your connector. It could be a VA that's sourcing replens for you and connecting you to products. It can be someone that's introducing you to someone like Paul. It could be Jim Cockrum, who's hooking you up with Mike Brown because you have a good idea that can serve him, right? There's always a creative solution to a pathway to have something amazing happen through the power of relationships. So you have a great idea. How many people here would spend their time going through a course on relationships? Maybe I should write a book. Maybe I should become an author. Oh, you know what? If I could have put that up on one of those slides, that statement, be careful what you wish for, I'm the epitome of that. Man, I literally am. I'm like, sorry, because everything that you do affects that top 5 people you surround yourself with. You got to be, aware of that. For me, everything I do, it affects the people that buy into what I have to say in this community or leverage my knowledge, right? So, yeah. There's people that are out there going, yeah, I'm going to be like that. I'm going to start my own coaching program. That's what I'm going to do. Be careful what you wish for. If that's the road you're going to go down, come talk to me. I'll help you. If that's what you've decided you're going to do, but I wouldn't wish a coaching business on anybody because it is a treacherous journey. It's dangerous. It's risky, but it's worth every minute. If you dial it in and you put people first, you got to put people before money. That's the secret to all business.